On this episode of Patrol Tactical, we are talking about gas rings.
Get a ring when you fart?
No. Hey guys, this is Dave with Patrol Tactical. Thanks for checking out this video. Today we're talking about the gas rings that are inside your bolt carrier on your AR15 platform rifle. Now, if you've watched our How to Field Strip video, we go through how to get the bolt carrier basically disassembled so you have the bolt separated from the carrier. If you haven't checked out that video, I'll put a link in the description below. But basically, we're going to be working from just the bare bolt with the rings. So if you don't know how to do that, again, check out that video. Now, gas rings are a very vital part of the system. They are a perishable part, which means they do have a life. So it's not going to last the lifetime of your rifle. You're going to have to probably at one point replace the gas rings, especially if you're doing a lot of competition shooting, training, going to various shooting events, whatever. Eventually the gas rings will wear out. It's no big deal. There are two tests that are generally accepted on how to determine if your gas rings are ready to be replaced. Now, some people will have like a schedule where they'll say, oh, I replace my gas rings every X thousand rounds or whatever it might be. And to my knowledge, I haven't seen a good hard and fast number that says if you've made it to this many thousand rounds that you need to replace the gas rings. I just do a test every now and again when I do lubrication or when I do cleaning or whatever. It's really easy to do to determine, and I always keep gas rings in my range bag. Let's talk about how to test your gas rings to see if they are good or if they need replacement. This is a complete bolt carrier group. Everything is intact, nothing's been removed. Now the simplest is just to set the carrier on a table or flat surface, just like so. You're setting it on the bolt with the weight of the carrier above the bolt. This passes as it is right now. Now if you did this and the carrier compressed down like that on its own, that is an accepted test to tell you that the rings are not holding enough compression, that they need to be replaced. So again, just take it, set it on a table or flat surface. If the carrier stays up, you're good to go. If it falls down, they need to be replaced. The other accepted method is to take apart your bolt from your carrier. So you're removing the firing pin and the cam pin, so you have the bolt, the carrier, and we'll just reinsert the bolt. So actually you don't even need to remove the bolt, just make sure you take out the cam pin and the firing pin. And if you hold the bolt down so it could fall out like this, this is another test. If the bolt stays in the carrier without the cam pin, it passes. If you turn it over and the bolt comes out, the rings need to be replaced because again, they're not holding enough compression. So those are the two generally accepted tests that I've seen at various armor schools training. I haven't seen any other ones. I know some people will talk about doing different things, but those are the simple ones and they work. Let's talk about the gas rings themselves. There will be 3 on your bolt, and when you order them, make sure you're ordering them in a quantity of 3. Pretty much every reputable seller that sells gas rings will sell them in a pack of 3. Keep in mind that if you are replacing one, you might as well just replace all 3. So make sure you have some spares on hand. So let's look at the gas ring itself. You can see here it's basically stamped out of really thin sheet metal. There's an opening here called the gap, and then a ring, and with a slightly thicker portion right here, and then it just comes back around to complete. Almost looks like a C. Now, those of you guys that are car guys or engine guys, you'll see that this is really similar to a piston ring in the modern combustion engine, and there is some definite influence there, but it's a really simple piece, and the biggest thing is we don't want to stretch it apart and put it back on. It actually will install almost like a split key ring, okay? So we don't have to worry about prying this and then trying to bend it back because you'll ruin the ring. You can see there's just not much there. To remove your gas rings, you will need a small tool. Some guys will use a small jeweler's type screwdriver. I like a dental pick. It works really well, and this particular one I have a little bit more to hang on to. But like I mentioned before, how you install them is similar to like a split key ring, and you're going to be removing them the same way. They are disposable though, so once you remove it, just throw them away. So if you need to be a little more aggressive with your removal, that's okay because you're not going to reuse them. You just want to make sure that you install them real carefully. So we have our new gas rings, and we're going to pretend that this one failed, and we're going to remove them. Now, you'll see the gap here on this top one, and you'll notice that they don't quite fit perfectly. If I push them back and forth, back and around, the ring diameter is larger than this portion of the diameter of the bolt. So we're going to use that to our advantage. We're going to push opposite of the gap, so the gap kind of comes away from the bolt, and we're just going to take the tool and just kind of pry up and underneath, so we're lifting it, but you can kind of see the motion that we're trying to get here. So you can see there we have that up and off, and now we're just going to rotate as we're kind of lifting up to take it off. We'll set that one aside so we don't confuse them. We'll do another one. Again, find that gap, kind of split, and pry it up just like that. So again, you can see that it lifted up, and again, lift up, kind of twist off. And then same thing with the last one. There you go. You can also take a toothbrush, clean this out if there's some gunk in there or some carbon buildup. To install them, it's basically just the same but reverse, and we don't have to worry about which side. Although if you look closely, you will see where the stamp was made, but I've done them both ways, it doesn't matter. All we're going to do, take the ring, set it aside. You don't even need a tool for this. And we're just going to basically put the one side in the groove. You can kind of see how it's separated like that. And we're just going to rotate and around, just like that. We'll repeat for all three. And the first two are easier than the third. And the third one, if you had to pick a difficult one, I guess, the third one, just because there's not as much room to work in. But again, just, and hopefully you guys can see this all right on camera. Put the one end in where it will go. Just kind of push down, twist around like that, so you have the rings in there. Now again, the gap, you can see the bottom ring gap is here, the middle is here, and the top is here. It doesn't hurt to split them up, but again, they will rotate during firing. I don't put that much time into it. A lot of times when you install them, they're going to be separated anyway, but if you install them and they are magically in a line and it makes you feel better to rotate them, certainly go ahead and do so. It won't hurt anything either. But that's just how easy it is to remove and replace gas rings, and of course the tests, which are important. Whenever you're doing any cleaning or lubrication where you have the carrier out, it doesn't hurt just to take the carrier, especially the method where you don't have to do any disassembly, and just set it on a table or work surface to give it a quick check. Doesn't take any time at all, and then you'll have that peace of mind of knowing that your rings are okay. One last note about rings is that a lot of people will say that if this fails, the rifle is doomed and it was unreliable and it will never function. And if it does fail, absolutely replace the rings. I'm not saying not to, but I can tell you after working on a lot of guns, particularly law enforcement guns, that a lot of cops just aren't gun people. I've seen basically 2 rings out of 3 broken and only 1 functioning, and the gun still functioned just fine. I haven't seen one with all 3 broken, but 2 out of 3. I've seen them with the gaps in alignment. I've actually purposely taken rings out and run the rifle with just 1 ring. I've run it with just 2. They work just fine with that. Optimally, we want to have 3. We want to make sure they're good rings that pass the test. But it's amazing how reliable the rifle is, even if a ring or 2 is broken where it's cracked. So we basically just have the 2 halves being held together by the compression of the carrier. So it's a really cool system. If you have any questions, please make sure you share those questions, comments below. We do our best to answer those questions and comments. If you have any requests for videos or anything like that, please get a hold of us. We love to take those requests. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. If you like what you've seen, please like, share, and subscribe. Check out our other videos on our channel. And check out Full 30 in general. There's a ton of great channels. We'll do all of our giveaways and promos on Full 30. It's going to be our preferred, platform of choice to share our videos. Whenever you work with firearms, make sure you do so safely. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.